Welcome to today's meditation. Find a comfortable position and let your eyes close when you're ready. Before we begin, a brief reflection on today's theme. An open heart is not a weakness. It takes more strength to stay soft in a world that rewards armor. Think about it. Every time you got hurt, something in you wanted to close. Build a wall. Stop trusting. Stop caring so much. And that makes sense. It's protection. But protection has a cost. The same walls that keep pain out also keep everything good from getting in. Love, surprise, the small moments that actually make life worth it. Today we practice staying open, not recklessly, not without boundaries, just enough to let the world reach you again. Let your body settle wherever it is right now. Notice the weight of you against whatever surface is holding you up. You don't need to change anything about how you're sitting or lying down. Just feel the pull of gravity, how it holds you without asking. Your breath is already moving. Let it. Not deeper, not slower, just as it is. And notice your chest, not with any intention to change it. Just notice the space around your heart. Is it tight, open, somewhere in between? Whatever you find, that's fine. We're just looking. No fixing, just noticing. Here's something most people don't talk about. Closing your heart is exhausting. Think about the energy it takes to keep walls up, to stay guarded in a conversation, to smile when you're not okay, to pretend you don't care when you really do. That takes enormous effort. We just don't notice because we've been doing it so long it feels like the default. Like carrying a heavy backpack for years. You forget it's there until someone points it out, or until you finally set it down. An open heart isn't about being naive or exposed. It's about choosing not to spend your energy on defense when no attack is coming. Most of the time, no attack is coming. But we brace anyway, out of habit, out of memory, out of the fear that if we let our guard down, the old pain might find us again. Notice your shoulders right now. Are they up near your ears, pulled forward like a shield? See if they can drop just a little, not forcing, just inviting. That small release That's what opening feels like in the body. We learn to close for good reasons. Someone broke your trust and you decided to stop giving it freely. Someone criticized you and you learned to hide the parts of yourself that might draw attention. Someone left and you decided that needing people was the real problem. These are smart survival strategies. But survival strategies have an expiration date. The thing that saved you at 10 might be the thing that's strangling you at 30, or 40, or 50. The question isn't whether closing protected you. It did. The question is whether you still need that level of protection right now, in this moment, in this room. Right now, are you actually in danger? Or are you defending against a memory? There's a particular kind of closing that's so common, we barely recognize it. It's the closing that happens in conversation. Someone asks how you're doing and you say fine, not because you are, but because the truth feels like too much to offer. Someone shares something vulnerable with you, and instead of meeting them there, you change the subject, or make a joke, or give advice. Because meeting vulnerability with vulnerability feels dangerous. We do this dozens of times a day. These tiny moments of closing, so small we don't even notice. But they add up. Each one is a brick. And after years of bricks, you've built something you can't see over. Here's what an open heart looks like in real life. It's telling someone you miss them without calculating whether they miss you back. It's letting yourself cry at a movie without worrying what the person next to you thinks. It's saying, I don't know, instead of pretending you do. It's complimenting a stranger and not needing anything in return. It's admitting when you're scared. None of this is dramatic. None of this requires a big declaration. It's just choosing honesty over performance. Over and over, in small, unremarkable moments. Notice your breath again. Has it changed at all since we started? Don't try to make it different. Just see where it is now. Sometimes when we talk about openness, the body responds before the mind catches up. You might notice your breathing has softened, or your jaw has loosened, or your hands have unclenched. The body knows how to open. It's been waiting for permission. Think about how you were as a child, before you learned to guard yourself. Children are radically open. They tell you exactly what they feel. They cry when they're sad and laugh when something's funny, and say, "I love you" to people they met 10 minutes ago. We call that innocence. But it's not innocence, it's honesty. They haven't learned yet that honesty is risky, that showing what you feel gives people power over you, that caring too much is something to be embarrassed about. Somewhere between childhood and now, you learned that lesson. And you learned it well. Maybe too well. The invitation here isn't to go back to being a child. You can't unlearn what life has taught you. But you can choose which lessons still serve you and which ones are just old armor you forgot to take off. There's a difference between being open and having no boundaries. This matters. A door that can't close isn't open, it's broken. Real openness means you can choose. You can let people in. You can also say no. You can be vulnerable. You can also walk away from someone who isn't careful with your vulnerability. An open heart isn't a heart without walls. It's a heart with doors that actually work. Doors you open by choice, not doors that are stuck shut from rust and fear. Think about someone in your life right now, someone you care about but haven't fully shown up for. Maybe you've been holding something back, a compliment, an apology, the truth about how much they matter to you. What would it cost to let that out? Not everything, just one honest thing. Usually, the thing we're most afraid to say is the thing the other person most needs to hear. And notice what happens in your body when you imagine saying it. Does your stomach tighten? Does something in your chest pull back? That's the closing reflex. The body saying, "Careful, this is where you got hurt before." You can acknowledge that reflex without obeying it. You can feel the tightening and still choose to speak. That's what courage looks like. Not the absence of fear. The willingness to stay open while the fear is still there. And here's the part nobody warns you about. opening your heart doesn't guarantee the response you want. You might tell someone how you feel, and they might not say it back. You might be vulnerable, and it might land on deaf ears. That's the risk. That's always been the risk. But the alternative is worse. The alternative is living behind glass, safe but untouched, protected but alone. You've probably met people like that. People who never get hurt because they never let anyone close enough. They seem fine on the surface, but there's a hollowness to that kind of safety. A life without bruises is also a life without real contact. The people who seem most alive, the ones who light up a room, who make others feel seen. They're not the strongest or the smartest. They're the ones who decided the risk of being open is smaller than the cost of staying closed. There's something else worth noticing. We often think openness is about other people, about being open with them, letting them see us. But the first person you close off from is yourself. Think about the feelings you don't let yourself have, the grief you swallow, the anger you tuck away because it's not productive, the loneliness you won't name because naming it makes it real. Before you can be open with anyone else, you have to be open with yourself. And that might be the hardest part. Because being honest with yourself means sitting with things that don't have solutions. It means admitting you're tired when everyone needs you to be strong. It means acknowledging that something hurts even though you wish it didn't. It means looking at your life without the filters you usually apply. Can you do that right now? Just for a moment, without judging what you find, without rushing to fix it. Just let whatever is true be true. That's the deepest form of open heart. Not the one you show the world, the one you show yourself. And here's something strange about openness. It's contagious. When you're real with someone, they feel permission to be real with you. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone dropped their guard? Not in a dramatic way, just said something honest, something they didn't have to say. Remember what happened next? The whole conversation shifted. It got quieter, more real. Suddenly, you were both there, not performing, just talking. One person's openness creates space for everyone. You never know what you unlock when you go first. Most people are waiting for someone else to be vulnerable first, waiting for proof that it's safe, waiting for a guarantee that their openness will be received. But someone has to go first. And going first is always a little terrifying. And always worth it. Not because the other person always meets you there. Sometimes they don't. But because every time you choose openness, you practice being yourself, the real version, not the curated one. And that version of you is the one people actually connect with. Nobody bonds over the polished surface. People bond over the cracks. Feel the space in your chest again. Not as a concept, as a physical sensation. Is there more room there than when we started? Even a little more space counts. That's not nothing. That's practice. And notice your hands. Are they clenched or soft? Your hands tell you a lot about how guarded you are right now. If they're tight, see if they can soften. Open palms, nothing to hold, nothing to defend. You don't have to throw open every door today. You just have to crack one. One conversation where you're a little more honest. One moment where you don't hide what you're feeling. One place where you choose connection over comfort. Small openings lead to bigger ones. Not because you're trying harder, but because openness has its own momentum. Once you remember what it feels like to be reached, you stop wanting to hide. There's one more thing. An open heart doesn't mean you never get hurt. You will. That's not a design flaw. That's the cost of being alive. The question is never, how do I avoid pain? The question is, can I stay open after pain finds me? Because that's where most people close, right after the hurt. Someone disappoints you and you think, that's the last time I trust anyone. Something falls apart and you think, this is what happens when I let myself want things. And the closing feels logical. It feels like learning from experience, but it's not learning. It's overcorrecting. One person hurt you. Not every person will hurt you. One thing fell apart. Not everything will fall apart. An open heart knows the difference between this person and all people, between this time and every time. It grieves what happened without deciding what will always happen. And that's the real practice. Not staying open because nothing bad will happen. Staying open because the alternative is worse than any pain. A life where nothing touches you is not a safe life. It's an empty one. Carry this with you today. Not as a rule, not as pressure, as a question. Where am I closed right now that I don't need to be? And what would happen if I opened just a little? Not all at once, just enough. Just enough to let the world back in. Now, gently, start to notice the room around you. The sounds, near and far. The temperature of the air on your skin. The surface beneath you. Feel your hands, your fingers, the weight of your whole body resting here. There's no rush to move. When you're ready, let your eyes open. Slowly. Take this open heart with you, not just in meditation, but in everything. Thank you for practicing with me today. See you next time, because meditation should be free.